Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. This is, oh my god, it's June the 1st. Yikes. Time flies when you're paying off debt.
I don't hear you.
Oh, amazing. All right, one sec. Jeff can't hear me. That's kind of weird. Let me see here. Yeah. How about now?
Nope, I don't hear you. I can try restart. Maybe it's on my end.
Yeah, my cam's glowing green when I'm talking, so it might be his and for why that's going. It's technical alpha. It's technical alpha. Can you hear me now?
Hear you?
Can you hear me now? Hello? No? No, not yet. Interesting. Okay, alright, one sec. It just wouldn't be a technical alpha without,
Yeah, I'm glowing green too.
Okay. Let me see here. We'll just do a full... I can't imagine why restarting mine would do anything right now, but we'll give it a go. It just wouldn't be technical alpha without some random audio quip occasionally rearing its head. My god. What about now?
I hear you now. Yep. I hear you perfectly clear now. So,
The magic of the internet! There wasn't even a Discord update or anything, and my camera glowing green every time I talk, and I went to the test tab, be like, let's see if your microphone's working, and I'm hearing myself fine. So there's some
that's weird.
Absolute fuckery. Anyway, we're on, we got it, we made it, we're here. And it's time to try and restart the technical alpha stream here. It's Thursday, June the 1st, to which I responded or said out loud, fuck. Time flies, to make the same joke twice. Time flies when you're paying off house debt. I've certainly been enjoying the weather that we've been having, though, to a certain degree, although it's had its downsides, but otherwise, before we get started, before we talk about everything else, Mr. Black, most important question of the week, and I already know the answer to some of this, but how was your week?
Been a week. We'll just keep it short and sweet. It's been a week.
It has been a week. It has been a week indeed. Been a week here as well. I've been playing a bunch of Breath of the Wild. Well, yeah, it's pretty much the same fucking game. Tears of the Kingdom. I caved. I was like, man, I know I'm talking a bunch of shit about this game, and people were like, well, always ask, well, did you play it yet? And, it always stings, and you have to say no. And they're like, well, why are you trashing it? I'm like, well, I'm 34 years old, and I played more games than you have. I just kind of know when a game is going to fucking suck some cock, and when it's going to be mediocre, and when it's going to be good. But, I'll do it! I'll buy the game! I was walking through Costco in the fruit and vegetable section, which is exactly where you would expect to see a video game. And I spotted it hanging up on the shelf, and I picked up the card, and I looked at it, and I went, ugh. And I looked up at the price, $88. Fuck, fine, I'll do it. And so I bought it, brought it home, started playing it. The opening to Tears of the Kingdom is dog water. It's really, really bad. Really terrible. Not a good opening. Not in the sense that it's broken or anything, it's just not a good opening to a video game. They don't get you involved in the world in any meaningful way. For like 6 straight hours. You're just hanging out in R. Kelly's dream world where everything's a color of piss for like 4 straight hours. I actually, to keep relatively short, just to give you an idea of the struggle bus here for me, it's the only game, it's the third game ever Jeff and I played a lot of games when we were younger. Our eyeballs glued to those fucking TV. We didn't give a shit about how close we were sitting. Dark, light, didn't matter. I've gotten a headache from 3 games in my entire life. This game gives me a headache because of the visuals. There's a lot of shit where it flickers like crazy because it's super low resolution. There's dynamic, like almost dynamic resolution scaling going on, and it points with all that grass and the bloom, which is like, you know, remember back in like the early 2000s where every game, like everyone discovered bloom simultaneously, and so bloom was just like Fable. You turn your TV on, you were like, fuck, blinded by bloom. This game brings the bloom to cover up, you know, the fact that it's you know, running at 14p in the background. And so between that and the dynamic resolution shit and the stuff with all the grass and whatnot on the open field, it flickers like because of the aliasing. It's flickering like crazy. And so after a while, it's like getting fucking flashbanged for like 4 or 5 straight hours, and eventually I start getting eye strain headaches and shit. And it's just terrible. I mean, like the game, even for the art style, the character art style is great, Jeff. The game looks like shit! How anyone could be like, oh, it looks pretty good, you know, theme for a Switch game. No, it doesn't. The character designs are all fire because they carry everything. Everything else in that world is unwashed ass! Terrible! One of the ugliest games. There's a reason why everyone is dumping their ROM and fucking playing it on their computer. And some of them might be like me where they have a headache, and some of them are just going, man, some of these characters probably look pretty dope if only I could see them beyond 14p. So anyway, I've been playing a whole bunch of that. It's been okay. I wouldn't say it's been the worst game I've played in a while. It's just very mediocre. I haven't really hit the full stride of the game yet, which is weird because I've been playing for 40 fucking hours, but eventually we'll get there. And so that's been my experience. That's what I did this week. For everyone else, we've also, of course, been keeping up with friends, family, and whatnot in the province, waiting to see who's going to get evac'd, who's not getting evac'd, and etc. Em and I both have had friends who are in zones that have gotten evacuated, and so just trying to keep tabs on all of that. That's been a wild ride. That's still ongoing. Thankfully, it appears some of the areas have been what they call partially contained, or they've drawn a hard enough line in the sand, so to speak, that in areas it's unlikely to become much bigger in those directions. But otherwise, yeah, if you don't already know, we decided to roleplay California this month, Nova Scotia. We looked at California in the last couple years and said, fuck you! Why are you getting all the shine for being on fire all the time? Why can't we do that too? And so some fucking idiots went out in the woods in several places in the province, ignored the fact that we've had like 2 millimeters of rain in the last 3 months and said, fuck it, let's just do all the shit we shouldn't do, and now half the province is on fire. So that's where we're at right now. Dude, they're still lighting fires. They're handing it. They had to increase the fines for people starting fires because despite the fact that we have a ban on even walking in the woods. You can't even walk in the fucking woods right now because they're afraid that somebody is like smoking a joint or fucking a cigarette and they're throwing the cigarette while they're on a walk in the woods or some shit or a hike. We can't afford any human activity anywhere. We're stretched so thin. And there are people... I just watched the fucking update before we started here, Mr. Black. They caught somebody and they're in the process of getting the fine ready for burning leaves with a blowtorch. How can you be so dumb?
It's nuts.
So now it's $25,000 for the fine. I honestly think it needs to go higher than that because I think some people are still going to fucking go ahead and do it anyway. But we're down bad in 8K right now here in Nova Scotia, so it's been an interesting week in that regard. Although I will say, shout out to that random YouTube channel that was the only way that anyone in the province had any idea of what was going on for the first like 8 hours of this fire. Like the province just fell flat on its face. We didn't have any official channels. The local news didn't talk about it. No, nothing. But some random dude sitting in his house, God bless him with that probably a hashtag Elgato green screen, had the fucking like stock footage globe spinning news thing behind him in the background, just sitting there listening to the police scanner for like 14 straight hours.
Bro, listening to that guy try and pronounce some of the names
of
the places around in our province. I was like, oh my god.
But shout outs,
Listen.
because for real, he was literally the only way anyone that didn't have another police scanner, for unencrypted police scanner activity, nobody had, unless you were literally currently on fire, nobody had any fucking clue what was going on. And it took forever. And then, our premier went up and was like, well, it was a fast-moving fire, and so we couldn't really get the new... Anyway, before I talk about Tim Houston having a small penis for the next 3 hours, let's talk about video game news, Mr. Black. In an interesting fringe case. But part of a bigger trend in Japan, as I've discovered today, researching this a little bit more. It's possible that for the first time ever, a person was arrested for posting gameplay to YouTube. So there have been copyright strikes and people have gotten fined and things of that nature. Nobody's ass been dragged off to prison for posting shit on YouTube. Not gameplay anyway. And so this was a pretty unique case, so I decided to dig into it, take a little closer look. Because, I've posted some gameplay to YouTube. I was like, oh, what the hell's the nuts and bolts of this bitch? So I went in, dug into it. So here's the deal. The man in question was posting what was essentially a supercut with summary subtitles and whatnot underneath of it for Steins Gate, which is an anime and a manga, whatever, that also had a visual novel. So that is, visual novels are the most loosely defined video game experience you can have. It's essentially a manga in video form on a fucking screen where you're just basically clicking through shit, and it's some weird halfway point between watching an anime and reading a manga. Visual novel is kind of what it is. And so they were posting a supercut of all of this shit on YouTube with summaries and whatnot for people to watch and consume this content much faster than they would if they were actually purchasing and going through the visual novel themselves, which you can kind of imagine, given the nature of a visual novel in the first place, prevents a slightly bigger problem than just, somebody going online and posting their shitty gameplay of League of Legends. You're basically just putting the shit on the internet. It functionally acts the same as the visual novel itself, because you're not playing the game, you're just going through it, except you're providing it in an even more condensed fashion, and he was monetizing the videos on YouTube as well. So it's a little different from the usual the usual situation, which is why pretty much even the most egregious cases of developers going after content creators is usually just take the video down. And that's it. But in this case, this was essentially the same as a new book came out. I'm going to take this book and just post it online, word for word, and then sell it behind a fucking paywall. So it was a little bit of a different situation. It's just that visual novel is still loosely associated with video games. So, but this is evidently, as I looked into it more, a thing in Japan. These supercuts for visual novels have become a really popular thing in the content creation space over there. And so this guy, clearly, unfortunately, is the one that when they sat down and decided who are we making an example of today, this guy won the lottery, and now his ass is the example. That's just a bad day. And you know what? When he got caught, props to this guy. When he got caught, he was questioned about it. He said, "I'll be honest, I knew it was illegal the whole time." So he wasn't even trying to hide it. He was like, "Bro, I gotta be honest, I knew it was illegal. I'll take the fall." And so he's taking it with some grace. He's going into this with some grace. But he's going down with the ship. But the whole idea of it being a visual novel was specifically mentioned. So when they were talking to the regulator that came in and made that call, the first question is, why this versus the 6 trillion other videos that are online with gaming and whatnot. And they did mention specifically where it is essentially providing the same experience as the visual novel at an expedited pace where they were also monetized videos. So it was that combination of shit. It was just it is pretty fringe, but it is very specific, and it is much more of just more or less providing the product for free, more or less, in a damaging way than normal gameplay footage would be. And so there you have it. He could very well be the first ever arrested case for YouTube in the gaming space. Could be the case. Unfortunate for him, but, you know, thank you for taking the fall. We appreciate it. Godspeed. I doubt the sentence is going to be crazy, although I shouldn't say that, because if it's anything like North America, you could fucking sell meth for 25 years, go to jail for a decade, or you could have illegally streamed some shit that was on Hulu, and your ass is in jail for 40 years. So, you know, it could very well be. The content space is crazy. They're litigious motherfuckers. They come for your life. They come for your life. Or like the Nintendo one we talked about a couple weeks ago now. Where that guy got fucked. That guy got fucking sent to the Shadow Realm. That guy was destroyed. So yeah. Anyway, that was just an interesting thing for first, and so I decided to maybe bring that up here. In oddly similar news, however, and we talked about this a long time ago, because this technically happened back in November, Mr. Black. I don't know if you remember this, but the creator of Balan Wonderland, which is a video game nobody should play, by the way. It's fucking awful. But who is also the co-creator of Sonic, which is how this got, you know, a bit more of a high profile, obviously with the Sonic movies doing well, etc., etc. He was originally charged with insider trading back in November. And nothing had happened, but now we've actually gone through, and the prosecutors are now demanding. We're at the point now where the judge is going to be making a call here in the next month or so. It appears, but the prosecutors are demanding 2.5 years in prison, along with $1.2 million in fines, and those fines are largely based upon the fact that he apparently shows absolutely no remorse for the insider trading. To which I would say, no shit. How many people that insider trade give a fuck that they're insider trading? That's why they're doing it in the first place. But the original story, for those who don't remember or just never heard of it before, as the story goes, in late 2022, he was told, well, not necessarily late 2022, but this is when the story originally broke. He was told that a developer was going to be releasing a mobile Dragon Quest game. And as you might imagine, Dragon Quest being what it is, that's going to likely be a pretty lucrative venture that's going to make that developer and publisher a fair amount of money. And so after he heard that, he went and immediately bought $20,000 worth of shares in said company to be sold upon the release of this game, when the stock price would, of course, go up, as it would. That was what he eventually would plead guilty to. He did plead guilty in that regard. I don't know if he pled guilty to the second part here, but at the time he was also rumored to have bought stock based on the knowledge that, and this is a game we know about now, of course, and it's been a thing, as Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. That was that, like, that's that weird, like, PvP-ish thing that they came out as, like, they're part of the Final Fantasy VII endless spiel that they're doing right now. And so it was apparently also, or he was apparently also doing some trading based on that, evidently, or not evidently, but allegedly at the time. But yeah, so now he's pled guilty to it or whatever. They're going through it. That's what they're demanding. Of course, the defense is saying, please God, no. But we're going to find out in July, apparently, just how long and how much money he's going to be held accountable for. Gollum! Talked about that bad boy last week. The classic 2 out of 10. An absolute banger. A rare case indeed to be able to pull down a 2 out of 10. You fucked up. Well, they're now joining a growing list, Mr. Black, of developers posting apology cards, is what I'm calling them, but they're like they're statements, but they look like a fucking business card they posted on Twitter. You know, kind of like the classic Cyberpunk 2077 neon yellow eye bleed thing that they had, which I have in my notes here. I'm pretty sure started this whole fucking trend. Because, you know, developers would do it once in a while, but Cyberpunk did it like 14 fucking times. And it got to the point then where I think other developers were like, oh, people are going to expect that when we fuck up, we put a fucking little apology card out for every time that we do something horrible. And so let's all start it. Now, it's like every 2 or 3 weeks, there is a new apology card going up on social media for some game that's either just got released or is in the middle of doing something and they fucked up and did something terribly wrong. So Gollum, having been a 2 out of 10, and now, I don't know about you, Mr. Black, but if you released a 2 out of 10, would you even open your mouth anymore, or would you just go away? Would you just slink into the shadows and then hope everyone forgot about this shit in 6 months? Or would you?
Yeah.
Or, yeah?
Yeah, no.
Would you actually continue to engage in the public over a game that you just released?
No.
2 out of 10?
Shut the fuck up. That's it. Nothing else to say.
You want nobody to talk about this game ever again. You want people to forget this as soon as humanly possible. That's not what Daedalic Entertainment did. They said, fuck it, we're joining the crew that had been putting out these apology cards. So they put out a real banger of an apology card that was so well written, it had grammatical errors in it, which always makes it easier for to take them seriously when they're writing these apologies, when they can't even fucking take the time to proofread the apology card that they're putting out on social media. But they were like, sorry guys, we know this game didn't live up to your expectations. And it's got some problems, so we're gonna work on trying to fix some of the bugs, etc., etc. Not that the bugs were the reason that people were dumpstering this game. It was, part of the reason, perhaps, to a degree, but the game was just bad. Bug fixing ain't gonna do shit. So I would have just shut the fuck up and walked away and just be like, you know what? Let's pretend this game never happened. But they're joining it. I just wanted to bring this up because it is a thing where now it's become a meme where every time a company posts it, people have a running tab. It's a collage, an ever-growing collage of these apology cards. And every time one's released, it's added to the collage of apology cards, and as soon as one's released, like the top comment on all of these is somebody that's got the updated fucking collage, and they just post it, and then that's it. That's the whole statement. It's like, congratulations, you are now part of the fucking collage, and it just keeps getting bigger and fucking bigger and fucking bigger, and it's kind of ridiculous. Which I think is why the Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy 16 devs coming out and saying there's no day one patch to this is kind of substantial in that almost all the apology cards have to do with the fact that they released the game and the game runs like ass. It's broken as fuck. It's just terrible. And we've talked about this many times. What's our motto around here, Mr. Black? What do players want out of their games? They want them to be what?
Good.
That's it.
Just good games.
Just good games. They don't have to be great. We're using the word good very specifically.
Good. Yeah. If you're going to McDonald's to get a Big Mac, you at least want the Big Mac
to be good.
Good. If the Big Mac the buns are dry, there's no real sauce on there. The patties feel like they've been sitting in that little drawer for about 8 hours. The fries are cold. They're a bit soggy. There's not enough salt. They don't put any ketchup in the bag. There's no napkins. It's just, here you go. And the pop
that's a war crime. You got all that. That's a war crime at that point.
It gets worse. It just gets worse. The pop is flat.
Ah!
All right.
Oh, and no, wait, is it the Sprite machine where they ran out of Sprite juice and so you're just getting water?
You're just getting water with just a little faintest hint of syrup. Just a little bit where you taste it just enough that you're pissed off that you can taste it, but it tastes like ass.
Like, it would have been better if it was just water.
Just water. Just give me just water, right? Or fizzy water. But instead, you gave me just enough where it's really shit. And then on top of that, you wanted a McFlurry to end it, but the ice cream machine's broken.
Oh,
so
every
you're
time.
Just like, you know what, man? Fuck you, okay? I'm here at McDonald's because I'm too fucking lazy to cook. It's quick. I already know it's going to make me feel like ass later, but, I just want some, okay? Just be good. Just hit the spot one time in your fucking life. And they just dropped the ball on all accounts, so...
But all you want is a good Big Mac. It doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to look like the picture. We all know it's not going to look like the picture.
You know what these apologies cards are? These apology cards are like, you go back and you complain, and then the manager comes out, and the manager's like, okay, well, here's a free coupon for a Big Mac on your future stay. And then you go back to go get a Big Mac on your future stay, and it's ass again.
Ass again.
And you're just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not even going to complain about this one. I'm just not eating McDonald's forever and a day. Fuck all this.
That's so true. Yeah, that's pretty much what they are. So I just find it humorous every time. I can't wait. If this keeps going, in about a year's time, we're going to have a collage big enough for a desktop background. So if we just keep this going, it'll be a nice 16:9. And everyone is nihilistic about the gaming community, as these people can use it as their desktop background for a while. But it's kind of silly. I feel just stop apologizing. Just release the game in a finished fucking state. That's the secret. Or at least good. Not great. We just want salt on the fucking fries, and for the fucking buns to not be dry. I'll live with the patties being a bit old. That's what I'll close my eyes and imagine.
I mean, you know what you're getting when you go to McDonald's. At least give me that.
Yeah.
Just give me McDonald's.
An
Preferably-
unenthusiastic hand job.
There you go.
Like, it doesn't even have to be, like, you don't have to be excited about it. You're in it. It's a hand job. I could give myself a hand job if I wanted to. I'm giving myself one right now. You can't see it. But you know what? Sometimes you just want somebody else to give you one, and it doesn't even have to be good. You're just looking for something, an unenthusiastic, dead-faced hand job, bro.
I can honestly say I haven't had a fucking hand job since I was 17 years old.
No, but if somebody offers, and it's just gonna be okay, it is fine. Okay, I guess.
And if I'm getting you better be excited. There better be like some fucking, I don't know what. I don't know what.
You need the enthusiasm.
I need enthusiasm to the 20th degree. You know, I don't want to get too graphic here on the podcast, but I'm going to need a whole lot. Like, you know, that thing ain't going to be the thing that's going to get me excited. I need there to be a whole
other things
fucking
going
show.
On. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, it's like going to Circus du Soleil. You know, you go there. And, you know, what you're seeing right there in the front might not be the greatest, but it's the stuff that's happening in the background, all this crazy shit that's going on. You're like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this act here, but whoa, look at all, how did they create this production? This is fucking incredible.
So you're looking for a hand job that's got like a David Blaine magic special. Not even David Blaine. Be like what's his face in Vegas? It would be more like a David Copperfield. Yeah, like a David.
I need something. There needs to be smoke and mirrors. I need to be tricked. You know?
I need to not even feel like a hand job. It just it needs to smoke and mirrors. Perfect. Speaking of smoke and mirrors, it appears that Blizzard might still have some life in it, Mr. Black. And I don't know if that's smoke and mirrors or if there's actually still somebody with a heartbeat still within the company at this time. Diablo 4. 50 critic reviews come in. It's currently sitting at a score of 88 on the PC. And while some people are questioning if many of the reviewers that got their hands on the game pre-release had access to a version of the game that they would have been able to see, you know, the microtransaction aspect to this game. Other than that, that's about the only real major question mark people had about these reviews coming in. But I haven't seen a lot of like just players, so not critics, but just players. I haven't seen a lot of complaints. Everyone's pretty jazzed about it. We'll see if this is mostly just like a honeymoon phase, like, oh my god, we got our hands on another Diablo kind of a situation, and then like in a month or two from now we'll start, like, the cracks will start to show, or if it's legitimately good. But Blizzard needed this. Blizzard needed to release a game and have it basically be sitting at a 90, and this is as close to a W as this company has had for a freakishly long time at this point. They haven't been able to catch a good bit of PR or anything in many months, if not a couple of years now. So, shout outs to the Diablo 4 team, which, by the way, evidently, pretty much the entire game was done in a work from home environment. From as far as the lead developer talked about, said basically the whole game was done in a work from home environment. So it is an example of what is possible with a well run team. In a work from home situation. So they did a good job so far, it seems. That's a lot of high praise. We'll see, I think, again, with a game like this, when it's attached to a property like Diablo, sometimes you have to wait a few weeks to a month. You gotta wait for the honeymoon phase to wear off, and then you start to see what people actually think about it. You know, they get the, oh my god, I'm playing Diablo goggles off, and the stuff starts to accumulate. But that's a hell of a start. They needed it. And that's it. I don't need to. I think I've already asked before. Jeff has no intentions of playing Diablo 4. I don't really either. I'm like, I might in the future, but I'm not going to be fucking jumping on it to play it right now, because it's ultimately it is Diablo. It's apparently good Diablo, but not something that I'm dying to get my hands on at this time. But good for them. They did the thing.
Yeah.
And now we are finding out more information, Mr. Black. Some special information. First, we got some special information in chat. a super chat. That is a blood red super chat on my screen. I don't know if this is on yours. That is Taka with $100. Is that in Australians?
I couldn't tell you what that is.
Is that 100 individual Australians? I don't think so, because that's like I don't know. What
I don't know what that stands for.
It's just one letter.
It's just one letter.
It's one letter. Whatever currency it's in. Thank you. Bless you. He said, you two have been my favorite YouTubers for almost a decade now. Yeah, we're old. I haven't been able to support before, but now with a new job, just wanted to say, hey, wow, fucking A. Well, congrats on the new, it is Australian?
Damn, that's big money.
Fantastic.
That's big money.
Damn. God bless. Congrats on the new job. One of my favorite creators, actually, is Australian. Nat's what I reckon. Phenomenal food YouTube channel. Really funny guy. Really great if you're somebody that's just looking. This is it's not like I know the guy. I'm just letting you know. If you're somebody that's looking to learn how to do some cooking, but like everything is intimidating. Phenomenal. Great, relax. You know, he's a proper Aussie boy. He's completely out of his fucking tree. But everything is super simple. Great guy. Definitely check him out. But yeah, thank you very much, Taka, for the 100 Aussie dollars. We're eating good this week, Mr. Black. We're not eating that McDonald's dry hamburger.
No,
we're stepping
up
this
week.
not this week.
Not this week. We're going to A&W.
Oh, bro, I drove past. You know what? It's not A&W, but you know what? I was out getting
Five Guys.
No, but I did drive. I forgot that they're in the park. First of all, that they're like out there. Totally forgot they're out there because they're in like the most random fucking location in the entirety of the Bears. Like they're like next to the fucking like Oshkosh Bagosh store over there. Like get your baby clothes at a high price and then stop into Five Guys. But I drove past. I was out Bedford way. I almost died of smoke inhalation. Going on my way to an appointment to get compression socks for the flight, 17-hour flight. I need me some compression socks, so I was gone to get that checked out. And drove past the one and only A&W still in this province, and I almost did it. I almost drove through the fucking A&W.
It's delicious, man. The patties, I mean...
No, not the A&W. No, not the A&W. Sorry, this is Arby's.
Oh, Arby's?
My apologies.
Oh, Arby's.
I fucked up.
Dude, I haven't had Arby's...
A long time.
Fucking forever.
A&W is incredible. Like if I'm going for a burger, like it's in the top like two choices that I would have, if not the top choice for just
onion rings with a couple of teen burgers or a double teen burger with bacon.
The double teen burger is a goated hamburger.
Oh man, and there's just enough like grease and shit too. It's like usually when you have like a greasy hamburger, you're like but I don't know. There's something about it's just the right amount of everything they do there. I don't know why. And I haven't had one in years.
Wait, that Arby's is gone? I literally just drove past it the other day. Did they shut down?
Damn.
Oh, I'm fucking salty now.
You should have had it.
I had the opportunity.
You should have had it.
Had the opportunity. Beef and cheddar with curly fries? That was a good time. And that was like the last one in the province too. Jeez, that sucks.
See you later, Arby's.
Mark is chalked right now. For years? Why is the building still there labeled? It looks like it was painted last Tuesday.
Damn.
Am I high? Like, was I driving through a time warp?
No, it's still there. I've seen it like a month ago. I saw the building there.
What the fuck?
Somebody still owns that real estate. They're just not. I guess nobody wants to rent it out or something.
It's a good thing I didn't drive through. That would have been awkward. Like the one guy drew the drive through, and people are like, "What the fuck is this out of towner trying to do? This place hasn't been open for years." That's highly unfortunate. It's just not an Arby's. I really am high, but anyway, A&W is phenomenal. Also, shoutouts to them still having like legitimate root beer.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Anyway, we digress. Mr. Black, that's the. Oh no, it's not the end. We got derailed by all that Australian money, but Netflix. In the video game section of our podcast, again, for the first time in a hot minute, we discovered that, of course, we know that Netflix has been flirting with games off and on for the last couple of years, but like little mini games They haven't been going whole hog in. They've been, kind of just, they're there. The kids can play them. It is, they've been messing around with some stuff. But they did mention, they said one day we're going to open up our wallets and we're getting in there all the way. And it seems like that time has come, Mr. Black. Netflix has now announced, well, mostly not Netflix, but the actual people involved in this project at this point. It's from what I understand, a wholly new IP. I don't know exactly what genre it's in, but it's safe to assume, like everything else, it's probably open world of some kind, action adventure, likely third person, and may or may not include online play.
Bad but true. I mean,
90% of the market right now. So
what we're getting.
so with that being said, they put together a reasonable list of people here. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be good, but it gives you a better chance than it would otherwise. So the list of people that we are aware of for this new IP in AAA game development is Joe Staten, which is Mr. Halo himself, not the guy that was the lead for Halo Infinite, but the guy that they brought in that used to be with Halo, that they tried to save Halo Infinite with, if only for the fact that it was unsavable. And now, unfortunately, you all remember my war story of Joe Staten trying to drag Halo Infinite off the field, but they refused to fucking pick up their legs despite the fact they still had them. Yeah, that's Joe Staten. So he's on this list. Jerry Edsel, who is the lead campaign designer for the fourth game and lead programmer for the fifth of Gears of War 4 and 5, respectively. They also picked up Ralph Grassetti, who was the God of War Ragnarok art director. That's a pretty good pickup. And I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but Choco Sonny, who was the executive producer for Overwatch. No, not Overwatch 2. But Overwatch. And so that is their current high-profile pickups for this team they're putting together to make this game. You can tell just based on the people that they picked up, that they're pretty serious about this. Those are some big fucking names. And the big names, not just in the sense that the games are behind, but some people, if they even have like a minor pulse on what's going on, would know the names themselves. So not even the fact that it was like Halo, but if somebody said Joe Staten or Joseph Staten, a not insignificant number of people just know who the fuck Joseph Staten is as a developer. And so that's pretty big pickups. Shout out to VN Gaming with 50-hole Nokia 3310s. I'm going to strap them all to my body and create impenetrable body armor. Thank you. I have no idea what that currency is, because I'm an uncultured white man. But thank you for the 50 of whatever that currency is. Bless you!
Bless.
God bless. But yeah, so that's pretty good. I mean, that gives me a little hope. I am very interested. I think that Netflix is an interesting company to get involved with gaming. It makes sense. It's a good way for them to invest in different markets that's not just live streaming movies and TV and shit like that. But it's also a gamble industry, as we all know. Gaming is... there's a lot of money in gaming. There's more money in gaming than any other entertainment industry combined. You put all the rest of them together. Movies, television, music, put them all in a room, have them human centipede, still not as big as gaming. So there's all this money, but just like anything, there's a lot more failure than there is success. And when you get up to the AAA, or God help you, if you try to produce whatever the fuck a quadruple A game is, which we're still waiting on, by the way. We don't know what that is yet. We haven't seen what a quadruple A game is, but we're going to get there eventually. That's a lot of money. And a lot of investment, a lot of time as well, and a big risk. But that's a pretty good team. We'll wait and see what comes out of that third-person action adventure, maybe or maybe not online video game in the not-too-distant future. Now, Mr. Black, speaking of Netflix, if one wanted to break away from the dull, monotonous life of only having one region worth of content to watch, is there something that they may or may not be able to make use of in order to escape?
It's NordVPN. It's NordVPN.com/OTT. Use the promo code OTT, guys. Get a massive discount plus 4 bonus months. In fact, let me go and see, because I know the promotion is changing. I want to give you guys the right information. I just want to see if it's still available. as we speak. This will change, though, this month, as I was told. NordVPN.com. Let me see here. Get the deal. All right, so it is. So if you guys do go and get a 2-year subscription, you will save a substantial amount of money. So 61%. And you'll also get 4 bonus months when you get that. So what does a VPN do for you? Well, it allows you to mask your IP to a different region, which can open up the internet. So sometimes you're on website, you're on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you're playing a game in a specific region. You can mask your IP so that you can unlock parts of the internet that maybe regionally is blocked. And it can be blocked for a wide variety of reasons. It could be a government thing. It could be an advertisement thing. It could be a licensing thing that allows you to bypass that so that it looks like you are actually currently in a different region than where you're at. So, for example, if you're watching Canadian Netflix and you want to see what the U.S. Netflix has, you can mask your IP to the U.S. as if you were traveling to the U.S., and you would be able to unlock those shows and movies that are region locked in certain things. Also, the most important part is staying safe and anonymous. So when you're on one of these servers, your IP, you still have your IP, but you're connecting to a different server, which is masked to a different region. Which means if somebody's stealing your information, they want to know, they want to look up your IP, they're going to be looking up a random IP that, you are connected to. It doesn't require any programming, anything like that. It is super basic and easy to use. They've been in the industry for over 11 years, so they know what they're doing. Super fast servers. You can game on them. You can stream on them. You can game and stream at the same time. I've done it many, many times over. And it's just good to have. You can use it on your iOS, your Android, your Mac, your PC, your laptop. They have an app virtually for anything and everything. You can hook it directly up to your router if you want, and then have your entire household be under a different IP. So depending on what you use the internet for and what you're doing, I'm sure that every single person listening can find a use case for a VPN, and at the price of less than a cup of coffee a month. It's not a massive commitment. You just never know when you're going to use it. I don't use mine every day, but I definitely use it weekly. And if I'm traveling, I'm always using my NordVPN. So head on over to nordvpn.com/OTT. Use the promo code OTT. Get that discount, and you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like the service for whatever reason, get your money back within 30 days. No questions asked, with absolutely no risk for you. And it's a great way to support us. It's a great way to support the sponsor. And most importantly, it's a great way to support yourself by staying safe when you are surfing the internet. Also, if you guys want to go check out our Patreon, it's patreon.com/legtv. If you guys want to ask some questions through our tech support segment, whether that's on our StarCraft content or it's here on the podcast, you can do that by becoming a Patreon, and it starts at just $1. There's a $1 menu, and it works all the way up to Oprah money. So whatever it is that you want, you can do. If you guys can't afford to, or you simply don't want to, great way to support us. Leave a review for the podcast. Hit us with a comment, a like here on the video, and just support what we're doing. Tune in. That's it.
Fucking beautiful. Which means it's now time to move on to
movies and TV.
Wow. Well done. I like that one.
Thanks.
Please, God, let this happen, Mr. Black. Will Ferrell is apparently in the wings, waiting in the wings for the upcoming film Madden to play John Madden himself.
I can see that.
I could definitely see
I can see that.
I almost need it in my life, honestly. Like, if somebody said that he's not going to end up in that role, I almost don't want to watch the movie anymore. Now that I've read that sentence.
Well, if it's going to happen, Will Ferrell will be John Madden. There's nobody else. Maybe like Will Lasso. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah.
I could picture him playing.
He would have to put on some serious weight though. Like Phil, or the film. Will is already like he's not fat, but he's like he could get away with. He's a big guy. He's a tall dude. Yeah. Will Sasso is like 4'3", 14 pounds. But I could totally see. I mean, he was great. He's great at doing impersonations and stuff as well. He was amazing. He was one of my favorites on Saturday Night Live for a long time.
No, it sounds good. I'm in for it.
Absolutely. Looks like Spider-Man's brand is getting another W. This brand just can't seem to lose for like years now, Mr. Black. Everything that comes out for Spider-Man is just coming up fucking Millhouse. As Across the Spider-Verse is now sitting at around 96% on Rotten Tomatoes after over 100 critic reviews.
Yeah. First one was fire. Saw that in IMAX.
Yep.
Shit was fire. Good. I'm not even a big animated guy. Like, I don't really like it, but that movie was incredible. And I'm definitely going to go see this in IMAX as well. I think I saw it in IMAX 3D, which like the art and everything is
probably popped even crazier.
Yeah, people are comparing this movie. I've seen critics, respected critics, comparing this movie to Empire Strikes Back and The Dark Knight in terms of how great of a sequel it is.
Okay. I mean,
like
that's
on
big,
that level.
That's big
like
praise.
On that level. The Dark Knight and Empire Strikes Back.
That's big praise.
So, I mean, you know, okay.
We'll see. There. We'll see. But yeah, this Spider-Man just winning hard. Like they're crushing it right now. That's a very valuable property right now. And finally, speaking of valuable properties, Super Mario, the movie, officially number 2 all-time box office for animated films. Having just surpassed the original Frozen, now sitting underneath Frozen 2. With a cumulative box office of $1.288 billion. Frozen 1 was at 1.284 or 3, I believe. And so they have skimmed past Frozen 1 to move into the number 2 slot. They're not going to get anywhere near Frozen 2. But they have secured the number 2 spot on that list, which is a hell of a feat, to say the least. And damn it, you better find the rest of that money so that I can have 1.3 billion, like I fucking mentioned. I swear to God, you better get there.
It'll get there. Oh yeah, it'll get there.
It's creeping. It's been creeping ever since it hit like 1.24, and I was like, come on, find it in you, get the rest of the way. But I think it's gonna get there for sure. And now it's available. It's still in theaters and places, but it's also available to watch on
digital
streaming and stuff, and digital as well. Yeah. But that's huge. I mean, congrats to the team on that one. That's somebody might think, we talked about this before. How do you possibly fuck up a Mario movie? Well, they've done it on more than one occasion. So it's not like there was precedent for a great Mario film before this one, so they, this is, and they didn't do it. It's not like they used Pixar. They used, what's the name of the company? It's like people kind of refer to them as discount Pixar because they're not known for making phenomenal film. Like they'll do okay, but the writing is generally speaking tends to be really kind of like whatever. The animation is always good and whatnot, but the writing is usually kind of crap on their Illumination. That's it. But so this is a huge win for Illumination. Fucking massive. I mean, this skyrockets their brand.
I mean, Mario is just huge. It's just it's just such a huge brand.
It's just like that hamburger. You only need to be good. When your brand's that big, you just need good.
Yeah.
And it's gonna make money. That's all you need. Just good. So there you have it. That's all I have. I don't know if you have anything else for movies and TV this week. I didn't see anything else stand out.
Not really. Did I see any movies? I don't think I saw any movies.
Em and I, this is not a new movie, but it was, I had no idea until this was just the other night. But I got to have one of those experiences everyone wants to have, where you get a loved one or a good friend, and they've somehow not managed to see a movie that was like a super good high profile movie, and so you get to witness them experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah.
40-year-old virgin. She had never seen it.
Wow. It's classic.
And I was like, oh, we're going to watch that. So we
movie.
did. And she loved it. She thought it was hilarious. She was laughing at everything. She thought it was hilarious. I was a little concerned because, she's from the Philippines and not everything translates all the time.
Culturally, yeah.
And sometimes movies, a lot of North American humor relies on referential humor. And so if you're not
Pop
North
culture.
American, you just you have no reference point. So how is it supposed to be funny? It's like I can never watch, and I'm sad, but I can never watch Wayne's World with her. She'll never fucking be able to understand or get it.
I don't even like Wayne's World all that much.
but that was like so referential. So stuff like that you just can never get away with. But this, she thought it was hilarious. I prepped her. I tried my best not to be the person that's like, watch this, wait for this. Oh my God, just sit back and let her watch it. And the only thing I did for her was the 2 scenes where I told her ahead of time. I said, what you're going to see coming up here, they just ad-libbed, which was the chest wax scene where they legitimately just rolled camera and just fucking waxed that poor bastard's chest. And then and then the scene where it's Seth and what's his name, Paul Rudd sitting in the gamer chair playing Mortal Kombat, and they're like riffing on how I know you're gay, like that scene where they're just like coming up with him. Which, by the way, if you own the film and you get to watch behind the scenes, there's like many minutes worth of just those two coming up with just
come up random shit.
So other than that, that was the only time I jumped in. I held my tongue. But yeah, she thought it was great. It was funny, and I hadn't seen the movie in a while either. But that's such a good fucking movie, dude. That's a really funny. Still manages to have a little of the heartwarming bullshit, which you need to have in a funny movie, because if it's just funny all the time, you stop laughing after a while. You need your peaks and valleys. Does a good job. And so many people in that. You forget how old that movie is. So there's a lot of people in there that like now you know them now, but they weren't like nearly as big.
Famous.
Yeah. So like Jonah Hill, who's like 4 years old and has a 5-second long part where he's the guy in the we sell your eBay stuff, your stuff on eBay store, and he's holding the 2 boots with the fish in the bottom, and like that's Jonah Hill. And he's like 4 years old and barely recognizable, so shit like that it's kind of fun to go back and watch that. But so that was that. Not a new movie, but that was a movie related thing for me this week.
Yeah, I didn't see any movies, watch some TV shows. I thought I did see a movie there like a week ago. Saw something in theater. Let me look on the
I'm trying to think of what's in the theater right now that you would have gone to.
What did I see? Oh, I already talked about it. Fast X. Yeah.
Oh,
So
right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So then, I didn't see anything.
I did watch a little Harrison Ford thing today before the stream where it was a variety interview where he was explaining things throughout his career, where people were asking him to explain things. And one of the things that was kind of fun was him talking about his character in Blade Runner. And whether or not he believed that his character in Blade Runner was a replicant or if he was human, because that was like a long standing, community battle. Was he a human? Was he a replicant? And he, for a long time, he publicly, he said that he believed that he was human, while Ridley Scott eventually said, well, Ridley put out that new cut of the film that basically like included shit that made you believe that seemed to be the case, that he was in fact a replicant. But then in this interview, he was like, "Oh no, I was just saying that shit to be contrarian. It's like I'm pretty sure he's a replicant, and it makes more sense for him to be a replicant, and like because of course a replicant would want to believe that they're human, and so that was like his whole stance on it. But that was kind of fun to watch, and what's been nice with Harrison Ford, if you watch any interviews with him in the last couple of years, I don't know if it's just his age or if he just or what, but he's finally loosened up a bit in interviews, and he's still Harrison Ford. You ask him a stupid question, he's going to give you a stupid answer.
I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Harrison Ford. Never really was. I don't think he's particularly a great actor, and I just like...
I don't think Harrison thinks he's a particularly great
actor. Like, I'm not saying I don't... Like, of course, I've watched the majority of his films. Like, he's a big movie star. But, like, I just... Indiana Jones 5, I'll never go see. I will actually never watch that movie. I find there's a lot of movie stars that are like older that are believable. I just don't believe him anymore. Like when he's in a movie now and it has anything to do with any type of action or anything like that, it's just
he's like
I just
80
don't
something
buy
years
it.
old.
Yeah, but I mean, there's like, you look at someone like Sylvester Stallone, who's like fucking 80 years old, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and some of these other like
steroids.
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, that'll do it. But you know, it's hard. It's hard for me to buy Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
In really anything. Now, if Harrison Ford is doing, some sort of TV series or whatever, and he's playing like an older, grumpy guy like Clint Eastwood did back in the day or whatever,
and stuff.
Sure, I'll buy that. But for the most part, I'm checked out of the Harrison Ford camp. And he's always been like the type of actor that just seemed like he was never having fun. It's like he just seems like annoyed about like the things he's in and the questions he has to answer. He's just like,
I think that's because he is.
I think he is. Yeah, I just think
At least he's honest. He said outright. He said a lot of the shit like Star Wars. Was doing it for the job. He's like,
he did for the money. He's just like,
this man was a roadie for like the Doors or whatever the fuck, and then was like a carpenter, and then walked in and did a thing, and all of a sudden he's Han fucking Solo. Like at some point, So at least he owns up to it. I think he's probably the first person to tell you. It's like, he probably thinks he's an okay actor. I think he understands the business.
I think he's an okay actor. I just don't think he's particular. Like he's not. I don't even think he's really a movie star anymore. He's not been a movie star since the 90s.
Yeah, really.
Like I don't think Indiana 5 is going to do well. Like I really don't. I don't think it's going to do well at all. But who knows?
It's very specifically for Indiana Jones fans at this point.
Yeah.
Like that's the only people that it's for. It's not for anyone else. And so this is gonna be testing the waters for how many Indiana Jones fans are still actively looking for more Indiana
I'm praying
Jones.
It fails so that fucking Kathleen Kennedy can go fuck off. Like seriously.
Is this like her last thing? Was like the last involved thing?
I think this is the last oorah. I think she's gonna be done after this.
Well, then if that's the case, then yeah, let's speed that up. Pitter patter, let's get at her. Which means it's time to move on to
tech support.
Patreon.com/lagtv is the place to go if you want to financially support the podcast. And for $10 or more, actually $5 or more now, per month, you get to ask us some questions on a segment we call Tech Support. We answer a couple of them each and every week. I post a thing up on Patreon. It's a post called Tech Support. You ask your questions there. We give you some answers. Partially here and partially now, of course, on the often or now very much funded StarCraft content over on the YouTube channel as well.
Yep.
So let's see what we got this week. The Blainer asks, waffles or pancakes, Mr. Black? I think we've answered this before, but it's an age-old question. Waffles or pancakes?
A good waffle over a good pancake every day of the week, but a bad pancake over a bad waffle every day of the week.
Yes.
So
that is the correct answer.
I mean,
because the reality is, you get a good waffle, crispy outside, fluffy inside, and it's warm. And you get to fill. The thing is, every one of those little dips is all it is a vessel for butter and syrup. It's a vessel for diabetes, really. And you just
so good,
all up in that shit.
So good. And you know what? I find waffles just so much more versatile than pancakes. Yeah, you can theoretically put the same things on a pancake as you can a waffle, but there's just something about the waffle. Those little mini cups, almost like you said, like those little squares. It just kind of holds shit there.
It's true.
And there's just something about putting your fork into a crispy waffle and just waving it around in the syrup and the fucking, and then and if it's blueberry waffles, you got like a piece of blueberry in there. You just put that down the hatch and it's delicious. Holy sweet mother of Christ. But stuff. A bad waffle, a dry ass, shitty ass waffle.
We're not talking about your Eggo waffles you put in the fucking.
No.
Stop it. Those are murder weapons. You can kill people with those.
No. You don't know. I'm talking about homemade, straight off the press, homemade batter with all the shit you want to put in.
Yes.
You get a good ass waffle. It is destroying a good ass. Don't get me wrong. I like me a good ass pancake.
We ate a lot of the Danny Boy's pancakes growing up.
They're delicious. Fucking delicious.
But if he made that in waffle form.
Oh, well, I would have lived there. I wouldn't have gone anywhere. I pretty much lived there anyway, but I would have been. I would have had
even
a
more.
bedroom. Yeah, I would have been. Dan would have been my dad. I would have told my dad, sorry, bro, but you know.
Have you tried these waffles?
Have you tried these waffles? Because I'm telling you, I'm in. So waffles.
Fuck, what would I give to go back for a couple of days being teenager, having Danny Boy making pancakes, going golfing in the afternoon, bro?
Bro, dude, make it happen. Make it happen. Tell Danny, say, listen, one of these weekends, I don't care when, but you fucking make it happen. I'll fucking, I don't even care, bro. I'll fucking spend the night at your house. I'll sleep in the basement. I'll do whatever. Just let us wake up, walk a couple of houses down. It's fucking 9 o'clock in the morning and the pancakes are going. I'm in.
Oh my God, dude. I'm still salty. I'm still salty that we lost that golf course nearby. I'm still salty about it. But,
we could do the driving range, you know, or we could go to Indian Lake or something, you know.
Me and Crimp are gonna do that in the next month sometime. We're gonna go to the drive. He texted me and he was like, "I need to get out of this house. I'm surrounded by children. We need to go golfing." I said, "We're gonna die. You know that, right?" And he said, "I know, but I need to get. Bro,
your body the next day is gonna be going, what the fuck did I do?"
I said, "One of us guaranteed slipping a disc, 100%. We're gonna take. It'd be like 4 swings in, and somebody's gonna be sitting on the bench for the rest of the afternoon watching the other guy hit balls off the fucking tee." Let's see what we got here. Oh, thank you. A-Dent said, "No question this week. Hoping y'all are safe out there." Well, thank you very much, A-Dent. We appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Question for Jeff or Vulcus. Any plans for car shows this year? He said, "My regular one in Woodside got canned, and I'm looking for another one to frequent."
Yeah, no, they're, you know, whenever they pop up, I'll go. But like you said, one of the main ones, it's no longer a thing. And, you know.
Was there a reason? Was there like a reason for that?
I don't know. I think it just kind of got fucked over COVID. And then it just.
Not enough people returned or whatever.
I just think the people that were organizing it just got out of the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, so unless somebody else picks up the mantle.
That's right.
But Volk, if you see anything, you know, DM me and I'll head out for sure.
Let's see. Mike Hunt asks, "Do you guys plan to ever play another co-op game, or do you think we'll get a father-son game stream in some years from now with Jeff and Kai?"
Yeah, Jeff and Kai wise, absolutely. I mean, he's been coming on my stream like 4 or 5 times a week. He likes to get some subscribers, and he gets super mad if I don't let him come downstairs. So, you know, he's hustling the stream already. So, you know, he's getting the stream like a good, you know, 100, 150 subs a week.
Not bad.
That's what he does. He's out his last day that he came on, because usually I'm like, "How many subs you want today?" And he's like, 5, right? He came down and he said 70. I'm like, "Whoa. How do you even know the number 70?
That's a big number."
Yeah, and then he was like, you know, he said that my mom told him about the. He actually, I think he meant 17. Because he started counting up towards 17.
Like into 20 or something?
Yeah, I think he meant 17, but he said 70 for whatever reason. So, you know. He hustled the chat. Oh, yeah. He scammed the shit out of them. Scammed them right out. So, you know, he's already going.
So what you're telling me is that, like, having a child is kind of the evolved version of having a cat or dog on screen at any given time.
There you go, man. That's it. Just get them to hustle. That's it.
Get that hustle on.
Just get them to hustle. They can't say no to him. Can't say no.
Let's see.
As for a co-op.
Yes, yeah.
I'm always down to do a co-op.
There's just no fucking co-op. It just
needs to be the right
games.
games. Like, it just has to be the right game. You know what I mean?
Yes, I forgot to answer the second half of that. Yeah, I was going to say, I said the unfortunate reality is there's just not a lot of co-op games. I mean, in terms of like actual co-op. I mean, a person could say, well, you could go play like fucking Diablo 4 together, or like COD or some like multiplayer games. But like from a meme kind of co-op perspective, yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen eventually. There's just the game scene is just not just not invested in it right now, and so you're not getting a lot of it.
Maybe Stormgate will have like a good co-op something. I don't know.
It's entirely possible. Well, I mean, StarCraft 2 had had great success with the co-op stuff, so that's entirely possible. Last question before we move on and save the others for StarCraft this week comes in from what we got. I mean, these are in sequence. One comes in from Mike Hunt. The next one's PP Insider. The only one we're missing is ripe developing titties.
Titties.
Yeah, that's the only one we're missing. Yeah. Pulsating, ripe developing titties.
Fucking Jesus.
Why did you use that word? You could have gotten, like, if you said any other word, but pulsating, like, why? Okay.
Because it pulsates, you know?
I actually don't know.
I don't know either. It just sounded right, you know? It just sounded right at the time, but it was wrong at the same time. It just stuck.
You know what? Speaking of like out of context quotes, because that's a great out of context quote. There's an out of context quote that I don't know. I think it got like purged on Twitch, but I still have the file, like the saved thing. You know, Brian and I did the shitty games done slow or whatever, like a couple of years back when he didn't have work during the winter, so we got together and did that shit. So when we were doing the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy, and they paid us to do 100% on a couple of the games, I hated my life by the time we got to the end of that shit.
You're like, yes, terrible. Money, and then the reality sinks in.
Sunk in. Fuck. So anyway, at the end of, I can't remember if it was the first, I can't remember which of the 13s, it might have been the first one, I can't remember, but like the running gag in Japanese RPGs or just in RPGs from, or games from Japan in general, is that there's like, in history, there's like 4 black people to have ever been in any of these games.
Yep.
And so of course the 13, yeah, what was his name?
Was Cat.
It started with it ended with a Z or some shit, didn't it?
Did it end with a Z or an X?
I think it was a Z.
I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So he's in it, right? So anyway, you get to the end of the game, and they're doing the end game cutscene, which is a lengthy cutscene, you know, at the end of this. And so we're watching it, and like, they're just showing like every white character, and he's nowhere to be found. And so Brian was in this clip. Brian's mid drink of like a rum and coke or some shit because we're just fucking wasted because alcohol is the only thing that got through this fucking game with. And so he's nowhere to be found. It's all white people, and I was like, an hour because it was a new world, right? It's the rebirth of the world, and so I said, in our new world, we don't need black people. And Brian just fucking spit take fucking alcohol to the side, and so somebody clipped that, of course, with no fucking context, just me saying that one sentence, and I was like,
yeah, that'll get you canceled in 2023. I
was like, if anyone ever finds that shit and puts it somewhere, I'm doomed. There's no fucking buying my way to that one. But and of course, like I said it, and then like, you know, it was like halfway through the cutscene, finally he shows up for like fucking, 5 seconds. Saz, that was his name, Saz. Yeah, that was the guy's name. I just thought it was so funny. I was like, where the fuck? I remember sitting on the couch watching it. I was going, where the fuck is Saz? It was like, we're showing everyone else. Where the fuck is Saz? And so I had to make the joke. It was.
Saz was the last one off the bus.
I was like, tell me they didn't kill the only black character at the end of this game, because it was like the way the game ends. It's like, who died, who lived, who's fucking back, who's not, and I was like, please tell me they didn't fucking kill Saz.
Come on.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for the podcast. It's a nice short and sweet one this week. We're gonna move on and do some StarCraft. It is so, bro.
It's hot.
You can.
It's hot. I had to open up the window. It's fucking hot in here.
I'm going through it down here right now. In the last couple of weeks, bro, I have been going through it. I'm starting to get concerned that like my electronics are gonna overheat down here. But I can't afford a goddamn heat pump. I just can't. So I gotta go. I just gotta survive. I gotta survive.
Get an AC unit for the window or some shit.
The like windows are too small. The windows are too small.
No, but you can get one of the ones that with the we have one.
Yeah, with the hose. Yeah, with the hose thing.
Hose. Yeah.
I might, maybe.
It's worth, bro. You're gonna go the whole summer. You're gonna go the fucking whole summer with no AC, bro.
Well, the good news is, for half the summer, I'll be in a much hotter location anyway.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're going to fucking Philippines, where you're really gonna die.
There's no AC unit I'm gonna be bringing on a plane for that, unfortunately.
That place isn't designed for guys like you.
That place isn't designed for them, really. Yeah. It's just not.
Like how many 6'5" fucking,
Zero.
White, pale dudes are gonna go living in the Philippines, bro. The houses, or wherever the fuck you're saying, you are gonna be, bro. You are gonna be uncomfortable the entire trip. You better get a hotel that as Western as humanly possible. You will hate your existence.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's all. I said to him. She was like, "Well, they're more expensive." I said, "How much more expensive are we talking here?" It's like $30 a night. I said, "Excuse me."
That's it.
I said, you could have told me 300.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I would have said, sold. We're talking $30 a night. $30. I said, how expensive is the night in total? She said 4 stars, like $90. I said, word?
You can't even get a motel for $90 here in Halifax.
I can't get syphilis at the Holiday Inn here in Halifax for $90.
No. Yeah, you're gonna be at $200-$300 a night. You're gonna be royalty over there, bro. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be like, I can get used to this.
She said, no joke. Everything's so cheap because there's so many people, and it's whatever, it's Philippines. So like, she was like, massages daily for like, and it's like $7 massage.
Yes.
$7.
Yes.
I can't say hello to my massage therapist for $7. I gotta pay $10.
You're $7 a minute here. I'm not joking.
And they're not even. I gotta be honest. I've shopped around. I've not really had a lot of phenomenal massage therapists around here. They're all pretty mediocre, if I'm gonna be honest.
Bro, you're gonna be balling out of control over there in Philippines, and you're broke. You're gonna be like, yo, motherfuckers, I'm fucking running this bitch. You're gonna be eating the finest foods. You're gonna be getting the best rub and tugs. You're gonna be sleeping in fucking palaces. You're just gonna be like, holy fuck, you're gonna be a rock star over there.
And then I'm gonna walk outside and die.
And you'll die. Yes. You will fucking die. You're gonna walk outside. There's gonna be bugs you've never seen before. You're gonna go. I'm gonna go into the hotel. I'm gonna go chill out. Why don't you just bring the whole family hotel? You know what? It's $30 a night. I'm gonna get everybody a room. Okay, it's on me. All right, I'm gonna get everybody a room. We'll have the whole fucking top floor of this hotel.
Buying the whole place up. But it's true. I'm gonna be. So I take this as training, really. So this whole environment right now. I'm just training. I'm prepping my body for the inevitable. But it's time now, Mr. Black, to head on over, do some StarCraft casting. Thank you very much, everyone who stopped by for the live stream. We hope you enjoyed it. If you're on the RSS feeds, have a phenomenal little drive to or from work. And until we see you next week, my mouth just got so moist out of nowhere. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Until we see you guys next week, stay safe out there. Have a good one, and peace.
Hey, yeet.